Fake news, fake news, fake news. The whole internet is buzzing with the news that Saudi Arabia won't renew the petrodollar agreement with the US government. So what's the hell about the petrodollar agreement renewed drama? Real source of this news is just a tweet from a user on platform X. Although this user posted what they claim to be an official document of the agreement between Saudi Arabia and the US, it's not a key document of any secret petrodollar deal. It's merely a record of a meeting to deepen cooperation between the two countries. So this fake news crumbles on its own. But here's the kicker. The issue isn't about the petrodollar itself. The real concern is that now Western countries are increasingly distrustful of the dollar and are looking for a breakthrough. And this breakthrough, de-dollarization, is what we need to focus on today. And what does the end of the petrodollar mean? How long are we on this path? And can it really be completely terminated? And if it doesn't end, what will America face? Alright, my friend, today let's dive deep and tackle these questions and concerns one by one for you. I'm Sheila Wang, and I'm here to keep you updated on the most cutting-edge and fresh business and investment information. So don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe my channel. Now, let's dive into today's topic together. Actually, we already know that in this non-dollar settlement trades, countries like Russia, Iran, India, Brazil, and UEA, and even the world's largest oil producer, Saudi Arabia, taking steps to pave the way for the dollarization of trade. Here's a number for you. Over 20% of global oil trade is now conducted without the dollar. It's a significant shock. And given the comparative growth rates of developed and developing economies, this percentage is only going to grow. So here's another question. What does the end of the petrodollar mean? Is it a complete cessation of oil settlement in dollars or something else? There isn't a universally accepted definition, my friend. Maybe you want to ask me, why? Because the US is currently the world's largest oil producer and the third largest exporter. The oil produced by the US isn't going to suddenly not be dollar denominated unless the dollar itself disappears. It's hard to imagine the US following Russia's lead and starting oil export in RMB, right? But remember, back in the 70s, during the oil crisis, the US needed vast amount of oil to keep the country running, right? That's when the US struck a deal with Saudi Arabia and other Middle Eastern countries, somewhat similar to today's agreements between Russia and China. One was in dollars and the other in yuan. But the fact is that the US isn't the same as it was back then. According to Bloomberg in 2018, the US became the world's largest oil producer, and for the first time in 75 years, a net exporter of oil. As of 2024, the US has been the top oil producer for 6 years straight, widening the gap with Russia and Saudi Arabia. On March 11, 2024, the U.S. Energy Information Administration reported that U.S. oil production set a new record in 2023 with an average daily output of 12.9 million barrels. The U.S. is currently the only country capable of producing 70 million barrels per day. So, from the U.S. supply perspective, the dollar's share in the oil settlements might actually increase. Ultimately, no one knows to what extent oil settled in dollars can be reduced. What we do know is that's a trend, a long-term trend. But this trend doesn't change much. Just look at the financial markets. As long as the US leads in technology and global turmoil continues, money will flow into the US and the dollar's position in the financial market remains unshakable. However, there's also a fact that we cannot take a blind eye on. The call for the dollarization has been growing louder over the years. Recently, Saudi Arabia joined the central bank digital currency, which can be called a CBDC Bridge project. led by the Bank for International Settlements (BIS) and China. This marks another step towards reducing dollar settlements in global oil trade. Saudi Arabia's participation will facilitate maximizing convenience in Sino-Saudi oil trade settlements, eliminating the need for dollar exchange, thus avoiding market risks arising from exchange rate fluctuation. The trend of decoupling oil trade from the dollar is not only a challenge to dollar hegemony, but also a manifestation of a diversified global trade system. When we come to here, you may find a key point is China play an important role in this process. And here we highlighted what is the CBDC Bridge. It's a totally new system for peer-to-peer transactions, eliminating the need for third-party intermediaries. Central banks use digital currencies for transactions, but the currencies themselves don't actually cross the bridge. They're just used for accounting. Transactions are highly accurate and faster than the SWIFT system, with confirmations in just a few minutes. Digital currencies issued by member countries, possessing value characteristics and legal tender status. They are different from non-sovereign or private digital currencies, which lack government backing and enforcement. Saudi Arabia's participation in the bridge project will facilitate safer and faster large-scale oil transactions with China, avoiding market risks from exchange rate fluctuation. Currently, 95% of the trade between China and Russia, as we know, is settled in their prospective national currencies, especially eliminating the influence of third-country currencies like the dollar. So we can know to someone that is challenged, but to the other ones, maybe that is the chance. So what if American loses the Petrodollar Advantage? What's the next anchor? Okay, well, that may be in very low probability, but still tickles a curious mind. What if the US loses their Petrodollar Advantage? What's the next anchor for America? You'd like to see whether it's gold or oil. The underlying logic of dollar hegemony has always been about tying the dollar to a core commodity that drives global trade, ensuring the dollar's excellent position in international commerce. One emerging voice in this discussion is the idea of the tech dollar or chip dollar. In 2022, President Biden signed the CHIPS and Science Act, aimed at attracting global chip manufacturing companies to the U.S. to form industry clusters. The U.S. has been rallying Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan into a chip alliance. Chip design giants just as NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, and Qualcomm collectively control more than 60% of global market share. In chip manufacturing equipment, American companies account for over 40% of the market. In 2023, the U.S. Department of Commerce also added 3 critical chip manufacturing technologies to its export control list. This year, NVIDIA's market value has skyrocketed, as we saw, right? With every minor shift catching global attention, clear indication of Americans' chip dollar ambitions. The U.S. can maintain its dominant position with no other country able to challenge it outside the petrodollar system. America might just create a new cycle based on its absolute advantage in chips and technology, a tech dollar cycle. Alright, my friend, maybe we often hear on various internet platforms about China's ambition, challenging U.S. hegemony. But let's take a look at the facts. The crucial facts underpin the dollar are the country's technological prowess, military strength, and the openness of its currency, and the intrinsic roots of the dollar system. So, my friend, while the petrodollar might be under threat, the U.S. strategic moves in the tech and the semiconductor field suggest a potential new anchor for the dollar. The tech dollar could very well be next big thing, ensuring Americans continued dominance in global trade and finance. So my friend, stay tuned for more insights, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. See you next time, my friend.